Welcome to another episode of Sitting with Shay J. Today's segment focuses on financial literacy, but for the youth. We're diving into the world of money management, and we have a special guest with us today, Prince Dykes, an accomplished author and finance expert. So get ready to discover the transformative power of financial education as we explore investment strategies, wealth management, and invaluable lessons. And this is for your children, so get them near the TV. Prince, welcome. I'm excited to sit with you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Definitely glad to be here.
Absolutely. Prince, as we talk about this experience that you've created for the youth, what is the biggest misconception or gaps of knowledge that you've seen when it comes to youth and money management and how people really view this?
Well, people think that you should wait, parents kind of think like, hey, you're too young to know. We'll teach you about insurance later. We'll teach you about credit later. And, throughout my own life, when I started to learn about credit, insurance, stuff like that, I was like, why nobody taught me this? I come from America, where we are known for capitalism. So we're known for capitalism, and everybody knows, regardless of what you're going to do in life, hey, where you're going to be hosting a show, whether you're going to be an athlete, entertainer, own our own business, you need to know about these topics. But nobody was saying nothing. You just had to fall into it.
Oh, you're absolutely right about that. I remember even hearing like these buzzwords, but not still understanding the concepts like you're saying, And then when I started to learn, it might have been a little bit too late. What do you think are some key financial concepts that you believe every child should understand by the time they get to high school?
Well, you got to know about, saving, creating a bank account. You got to know about investing, credit, insurance, real estate, knowing how to make money, knowing how to save money, knowing how to invest money, and most importantly, I didn't learn since I became probably over 30 years old that giving back should be part of your financial plan.
I love that, because this show is all about community. So when you talk about giving back, I think that's an amazing concept that we have to really try to infuse into our community. When I'm looking at this amazing collection of books, Wesley learns, and Wesley is learning a lot of things. Can you tell me the concept behind these books and what really inspired you to make this series?
Yeah, started with my son. Now it's been about 10 years ago, over a decade ago. It was on YouTube. So we're doing a YouTube channel. He used to sit on my lap, and, we just kind of talked about different financial topics. He used to bring home a bunch of books, and they were really about nothing, really. And, but I said, well, in the money books that I saw, it was all about saving, which is cool. Yeah. At the time, the interest rates were very low, meaning savings accounts wasn't really making anything. So, and with the inflation going at 2% at that time, I don't know, probably about 5% at that time, and you're talking about your savings account is earning a fraction of a penny almost, So I said, you have to learn about investing. I said, this whole save concept is played out. It's gone. You gotta in order to get ahead in life, you have to learn to invest. You have to talk about investing. So it was a joke. I just did Wesley Learns to Invest back in 2014 and put it out because I was in the military getting ready to deploy. And, it took off, and then I created a cartoon behind it. Then I did a second book. Then I collaborated with different people, and it's just, just doing I don't do what's popular, I do what's important.
Wow. Yeah. I love that. If you're going to read it, might as well be about something, right? We're sitting down with our kids. We know how valuable time is. Let's make sure we're imparting some knowledge. When we think about, parents and educators, what role do you really feel like they play in making sure that children are financially literate and that they are really able to support their learning? What role should parents play in that, and educators?
The first step is parents. A kid is not going to walk in here and say, insurance, my favorite. You know what I mean? And buy it. This is a big thing I always want to know about. So parents are going to have to go out and say, hey, you know what? I want my kids to learn about insurance, credit. You have to start these conversations at the youngest age possible. I always tell people, if you saw someone who never got their oil changed and their engine seized up, the mechanic would look at them and say, well, nobody told you to change your oil? Because when you buy a car, Shay, do they tell you to change your oil?
No, they don't tell me that.
You just have to, they expect that you...
They tell me when the bill's coming. That's all.
But nobody tells you, they expect you to already know these things. So the financial industry is lineage-based. It's all about who your parents are. If you take Wesley, if he was born on the other side of the tracks, what does he get?
Yeah.
How does he get connected? He cannot go out and open up a bank account on his own. He can't go get a broker account on his own. So the thing about it is, it's all in America. It's all built about who your mom, dad, uncle, grandmother, mother is. So we had to go into. Everybody loves to talk about that wealth gap. To get in contact with that wealth gap, the parents have to step in. I can sit here talk to them blue in the face, and with our organization, we turn kids into first-time shareholders of stock, and that is the biggest thing we struggle with. Is to get parents to open up a broker account for their child.
Wow.
And it's not just us. I learned it's an industry thing. Like I've seen companies like, oh, we're going to do a give back where we're going to give away stocks, but the parents must create a broker account. Parents don't do it, right? But if you go into other more affluent communities, they're on it immediately. They got it. They're ready to go. But in our community, we're still working at it. You have to take one step at a time. But our ultimate goal is to take it away from the parents and to put it into the hands of a school or organization to take the custodianship away. Because think about it, if I talk to a kid, and I've done this before where some parents had a background where they didn't even qualify to have a broker account.
Right.
So that parent didn't qualify to have a broker account. Now, what does that kid do? I couldn't do anything with the kid. Or, hey, my mom is illegal. I don't have a social security number. Or my parents are in jail. They just got out of jail, right? Or, hey, I'm in foster care. I don't have somebody to open up an account for me, and I have to look that kid in the face. And even though they read the entire series, took the quizzes, everything, they couldn't do it. But there is an answer to it, but you just have to wait, taking step by step. Ultimate goal, every kid, when they walk in the kindergarten, they should have an investment account.
That's a goal, parents. If you were looking for a take home, that's a goal for you. When you think about this series, is this series done? Are there more plans for Wesley? Is he learning more after this?
Of course.
What happens to Wesley after this? What's going on?
He's getting older, so if you follow the books, you'll see, the graphics get a little bit better every time.
Yeah.
And he's getting older, he's getting taller and things like that. So, but yeah, he's going to definitely learn different financial topics along the way. And it's just organic, organically built, We started independently. Most independent authors, I think, won't sell over 100 copies of a book, right? So I'm glad to say this series has sold over 8,000 across the globe, across the country and across the globe, even internationally.
Yes.
So and every book sale, the profits of the book sale goes to the foundation, Global Children Financial Literacy Foundation, where we turn kids into first-time shareholders of stock. That's what we did. Just came off our tour and did. So, yeah.
You can't tell me there aren't great things happening in the community. I love to see this. I talk to a lot of parents, and they talk about building a reading habit can be extremely challenging when you're working with your kids. Do you have a piece of advice for the parents that are home and say, my kid just doesn't like to read. I haven't been able to instill this habit yet. Can you give us a tip or a trick to make sure we can get them reading?
First, hold on. When I was a kid, I hated reading. Now I'm writing books, right? So first of all, just kind of hold on.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is less people read. I saw this, I think it was, I can't even think of can't even think of Tim's last name. But he said that he's at Berkshire Hathaway. I think he's like the CEO of Geico or something like that. Right?
Yes.
And what he said was, back in the day, everybody used to read the newspaper. Investors, everybody at the Wall Street Journal, everybody read the same newspaper. They would read the newspaper and they would invest off of what they saw on Wall Street.
Yeah.
Inadvertently, everybody was doing the same thing because everybody was reading the same newspaper, everybody was making the same investments. So now that nobody reads newspapers anymore, now newspapers are becoming hidden gems.
Right.
So it's the same thing with reading. The more people that get away from reading, I always tell people, if you can read, you get ahead of like 80 to 90% of people. If you can comprehend and apply what you read, you are ahead of 98 to 99% of people. So this is an edge now. Picking up the book, reading it, I get it. Wesley don't even like to read. But what we do is this book here, coming out next week, we're going to put the animation version out to it as well. So if they don't like to read, they can watch it.
Come on, let's meet children wherever they're at. There's no excuse. For my babies that are sitting at home, these children, what piece of advice would you give them if they say, where do I start in this journey? I want to start reading. I want to start understanding financial literacy. Where should they start?
First thing I'll tell the kids, ask your parents to start an investment account for you.
Okay.
Mom, can you start investing for me? And if you don't know where to invest, start with the S&P 500, broad-based index of the top 500 companies in America, and continue to do that on for your birthday gifts and for Christmas.
I love that. Is there any book we should start with if we're just now getting the Wesley series, if we haven't been a part of the series yet? Should we start anywhere?
I gotta say, you know, you can start in, because they all tie into each other. Because like the latest book is real estate. Real estate is an investment. Something you learned in book 1.
Right.
Also, in order to acquire real estate, you need credit, right? That was book 2. Then once you have a house or you acquire real estate, you need insurance. That was book 3. So they all tie into each other. But I would say the best-selling book is the first book, Weston Learns to Invest, and then just go on your journey.
I love it. Now, you have a Denver Bronco that's been joining you on this journey.
Oh, yeah. You know, Terrell Davis, NFL Hall of Famer Terrell Davis. He came along in book 3, and he's in book 4 as well. And those his kids. His kids are in book 4 as well. So, yeah. Shouts out to Terrell Davis.
Yes, I love to see this. This is what we need in our community. As we wrap our segment on financial literacy and empowerment for our youth, I want to say a big thank you to you, Prince Dykes. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for what you're giving to this community, and thank you for sharing your expertise, because it's truly been insightful on how we navigate this financial world. You know, it's something that we don't talk about enough. So I'm excited to give you guys these jewels out there. My young readers, remember, the journey to financial success, it starts now. Whenever you pick up that book, it starts with knowledge, so keep learning, keep growing, and stay tuned to Sitting with Shay J, where we have more inspiring conversations right here on 9 News.